Hey guys, welcome back to Selenium with Java, January 2024 batch online training session 4. In today's sessions, I will cover Java conditional statement, then method, constructor, wrapper class, date and calendar function, and what is exception handling in Java, and how we can handle in case any exception is coming with the help of try catch block, and finally keyword in Java. So in the last session, you already learned what is data type, right? What is object, classes, what are the different string method, what is array, right? What are the different kind of loops, and how we can control the loop with the help of continue and the break keyword. And today you will learn the topics like the conditional statement, methods, constructor, wrapper class, date and calendar function, exception handling. So in what is conditional statement? So in case some condition is matching, it will trigger something. In case condition is failing, it will trigger different way. If and else, this is a condition, right? So either this part or this part. So that way conditional statement will be executed. There can be multiple condition as well. So you can run in today's session. So conditional statement are used to control the flow of the program and insert verification point and error handling. Primarily in Java, there are five types of conditional statement available: if statement, if else statement, if else if ladder or else if statement, nested if else statement, and switch statement. So what is if statement? If statement means only you can able to validate a certain condition, and in case condition is true only, then you will be getting the desired result. But in case condition is false, you will not able to get anything. That is the reason sometimes if statement might not work in case the thing is negative. So you need to append if with else, that will be treated as if else statement. So if will be executed where the condition is passed, and else will be executed in case condition is false. So that is the importance of if statement and if else statement. Let's see in the actual implication of this conditional statement. So we'll create a new session, new class, session 4. I will select the public static void main method. We'll try to write some code for if. Okay, so I'm giving some integer value. Integer say age equal to say 30, and I'm giving an conditional statement if age greater than 18. So what I can do, I can print out the person is adult, right? Greater than 180. So person is adult. So that is the if statement. If. But in case what is the meaning of if? If case condition is matching or pass or positive, then only your print will be executed. But there is no guarantee in case condition is failing. So you could see in case I am able to execute the if in case condition is positive, then outcome is coming right in the console. The person is adult. But if what happen in case my condition is failing, not matching or negative, right? So what will happen? It will print nothing, but it will print simply blank. So that is the drawback of if statement. So to handle the drawback, we can append if with else part. So what we will do? We will go with the else part, and I can print out in case condition is not matching, right? Condition is not validating, so person is not an adult person. So person is less than 18 years, right? That is the way I can make the if else part. Okay, so person is not adult. So that is the way simply I can deal with if and if else statement. But say what is nested? Nested means something inside of some of the area, right? Some of the block of code. Something inside again some of the block of code. So within the if or within the else part, in case something if else is there, then I can call it nested if else, right? So how we can deal with the nested if else? So just I am giving a simple example. Okay, if age is greater than 18, percent is adult, or person. So in our constitution, Indian constitution, right, in case person is greater than 18, right, he will be getting his voter card and he can cast his vote. The person can cast his or her vote, right? Person can cast his or her vote. Okay, so that is the simple thing I can do. Else, person unable to cast his vote, because it might be minor, right? Until it is greater than 18, so person in Indian constitution, they cannot able to cast their vote, right? Because their name will be not be listed in the voter card, or like the Commission of India office, right? Portal. So in case I'm giving 20, then simply person can cast his or her vote. But in India, again, there's a law. Whenever you are you are more than 18 years old, you can give the vote, but you cannot contest the election until you are becoming 23 or 25 years old. So then how I can validate? So I have three. I need to check three condition or four condition. That person can cast his vote. Person can s- contest for the election, and person cannot cast the vote. So that is not possible simply with the if else part. So I what I need to do within the if part, I need to use another if else. So that is the way, right? I can kind of check this kind of condition. So what I'll do within the if, I'll be using another if else. If again age greater than 25, then what happen? So person can cast his or vote and contest the election as well. Okay, else what happen? Person can only cast the vote. Person can only cast his or her vote, but cannot contest the election. So what will happen? So in case outer if part is true only, then your control goes to the inner if else part. But in case your outer if part is simply false, then obviously your control will go to the outer else part. So that is the way your nested if else part will be executed. Now say give it 10 or maybe it's 17. Okay, so what happened? So your outer if part is not getting true. So there is no point of executing the inner if or else part or nested if else part, right? So control is directly going to the outer else part. Person unable to cast his vote. But in case you are giving as 19, so what happened? So outer if part is getting to, that is the reason your control will go to the inner if else part, and after that in the inner if else part it will be validated. If is executed, then your part will be executed. In case your if is not true within the if, then your else part will be executed. So here I am given 19. So it is greater than 18. That's fine. So that is the reason control is coming to directly to the inner if else part. Now it will try to execute either if or inner else. Here in case age is greater than 25 as well apart from 18, then only person can cast his or her vote and contest the election. But here only 19, so that inner if part condition is not getting matched. So obviously your control is going to the inner else part, and it will print simply person can only cast his or her vote but cannot contest election. Okay, so that is the way you can deal with the right inner if else, but you could see person can only cast his or vote but cannot contest the election. Okay, but now in case you are giving is 30 or 29 or 30 anything or 35 say, so definitely your outer if part is getting executed and your control is going to the inner if else. Now inner if also getting true, that is the reason inner if part body will be executed. That is the way you can deal with the right nested if else statement. So person can cast his or vote and contest the election as well. So that is the simple way you can deal with these three kind of like conditional statement in Java, if, else, and nested if else. Next one is if else if ladder or else if statement. So what does it mean by if else if? So in case you are having multiple condition more than three, four, right? So we cannot use those kind of stuff. So you need to use if else if, like in case you are having 10 conditions, so that you can use either this is true, either this is true, either this is true, either this is true, or else, like that. So that is the way it is called if else if ladder. So let's give some real time example, then you can easily understand. So I'm just giving simply, okay, I'm just defining something called integer marks. Say I'm giving some value called 63 or 68, like that. Okay, now I'll go for if else if ladder or else if statement. So you know, right? You will be getting some grade, right? Suppose say this is a 100 marks exam, right? And people students are getting some score, right? Like maybe 30, 60, 40, whatever. But you will be giving some grading system, whether it's a for grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, like that, right? Or it's a fail, right? So what you can do, you can give some if else if ladder. If, so say I'm giving if marks, that is my variable, if marks getter equal to 30, and so you can give ampersand and marks less than 45. Okay, so then what happen, I can give so, right? Maybe just any grade I can give it, right? Maybe average or grade D, say D. So that is the way I can give one more grid. Then I can go for other grids. So what I need to do, else if in case my if is not getting executed, then it will go for another if. So that is an else if. So in marks getter then 45 and less than 60. So I can see good. Say good and grade C. Similar way, I can give if mark greater than 60 or greater equal to 60. Here I can give 40 equal to 45 and less than 80. Right? So say very good, grade B, whatever you want, right? They are just giving a simple example. Else if marks greater equal to 80. Okay, means 80 to 100 it can go. Okay, so it's excellent or grade A. Then I will go else part. In case nothing is matching, then I can go with the simply else part. So I can say no, fail, fail, no grade. That is the way I can define, and definitely I can validate what grade student is belonging based on the marks obtained in the exam. Now it is 68, so it is going here 60 to 80 checking, and it is giving me very good B. In case you are giving 28, so it is not matching any grade, student is getting the fail marks, right? Because your pass mark is minimum 30. So student is fail, no mark. In case you are giving like say 88, okay, so what will happen? So student will be getting good or excellent or grade A. That is the way you can if else if ladder or else if statement. That is one of the part of the conditional statement. So in case you are having 10 condition, you can first you can give if, After that 8 condition you can give else if, and last one it will be else. So first it will check the if, then else if, else if, else if, and the last it will be else part. So that is the import, that is the way you can just create some loop to validate something with the help of else if statement or if else if ladder. Then the last conditional statement is switch conditional statement. So switch is pretty much similar to if else if part in terms of logicality or in terms of the implementation, but it has some differences. Okay, a switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against list of value. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each case. The switch statement works with character, short, integer, long data type. The case should be always unique. In case you are making a duplicate, it will throw the compile time error. Each case statement can have a break statement. So break can be used in loop as well as break you can use in the switch conditional statement. That is some question might come. That where you can use the break and where you can use the continue. So continue only can be used in primarily different kind of loop, for while and do while loop. But switch statement apart from for while and do while loop you can use in the Java switch conditional statement. When control reaches to the break statement, it simply jumps the control over after the switch expression. If a break statement is not found, it executes the next case as well. So that is the one example I have already given. You can try that one. Apart from that, I will try to cover one more example. So what is the syntax for switch statement? Switch expression. So if you can declare some variable, any variable you can declare, right? Either is a integer, character, right? All this type variable you can declare. Suppose I am declaring, right? I want to validate that, right? Say which upper class student is, right, belong to from 5 to 10 standard. Okay, so lower is like class kind of nursery K1, K2. Then upper primary I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the medium standard is 5 to 10, and then highest secondary standard like 11 and 12 standard. Then college and master degree, all this stuff. So I want to validate 5 to 10 standard, right? So based on my switch statement. So what I'll be doing, I'll be creating an integer, say student class. Okay, so here I can give something called 6. Student is suppose say kind of starting in 6 standard. Okay, equal to 6. Okay, then I will be going for switch statement. Switch expression is all will be lowercase WITCH. As and when it is validating in Java, right, kind of keyword, automatically color will get changed because switch is a Java keyword, right? So you need to give the expression because that I want to validate. Then you can give a bracket, third bracket. Then you can give case. So you want to validate from 5 to 10, right? So you can give case 5, then colon. So because it is a integer, that is the, in case it is a character, so it will be case and within that single quote character. In case it is a float, it can be double, all this stuff, whatever you can validate, right? So say I can give student belong to 5th standard. Okay, so that is my case 5. Then I need to give break. That is the syntax, right? Optional though, but in case you are removing the break, what will impact? I will show you. That is the reason always better to use break after every case value. So case you could see some error is coming. Why? Because case you should be always unique. Case cannot be duplicate. So you need to change it to unique. Always 6. Then it will be 6 standard. In case you are giving it 7th, it will be 7th standard. In case your case is 8, it will be 8th standard. In case it is 9, it will be 9 standard. In case equal to 10, it will be 10 standard. And apart from that, you can give something called default. The last one, right? Default. And default you no need to give DAFAULT. You could see color is getting changed. Default you need no need to give the break because that is the last and that is the reason you no need to give any break. So student does not belong to fifth to text standard. Might be below fifth or might be above 10, right? That is the way I can make it. So press Ctrl A, just format it. Now you can execute it, right? So I have given it a 6, so it will match with the case 6 value and it will print out the corresponding thing, right? Here you could see student belongs to 6 standard. In case you are giving is 3, so it will not match with any of the case, so it will be printed the default value, right? Student does not belong to 5 to 10 standard. In case you are giving is 9, so it will be printed, right, 9 standard. So that is fine, right? I have given the break. That is the reason it is giving me the correct result. Why? Because as and when my condition is matching, immediately loop is terminated and the remaining case is not getting executed. But what happen in case I am removing the break because it is optional, right? It will not giving any logical problem. It is optional. What will happen in case I am giving the break as optional, right? I am not giving the break. Suppose say my condition is matching with 6, right? Then what happened? Can anyone tell me what happened? Here it is matching with 6. So what happened? What will be the output in the console? Can anyone give a try? Yeah, absolutely. Let's try it. Let's see why. So because there is no break at all, right? So it will not I mean stop the thing, right? Because there is no break. So it is executing from the whatever matching. After that, because there is no break is there. So it is executing the thing. That is the way you will not be getting the intended result. So that is the row. Though it is break is optional, but it should be use the break for especially for the case. And default will be at the last, so definitely no need to give any break. But in case here if you giving break, so here it will be stop. Though it is matching here, but as and when break will be coming, till that time it will execute and it will break there. So that is the reason, right? We should always surrounds, right, the switch case statement at the end. For every cases we should give the break keyword, so that as and when my switch is matching and immediately the loop, I mean switch conditional statement is getting terminated, right, with the help of the break keyword. So that are the different kind of 5 conditional statement available in Java, and we can deal with that. So any questions from any of the topic? Yeah, I will explain in the real-time framework. Suppose say you need to identify the element, right, with the help of any element I locator, right? So you need to match, whether it's matching with ID or class name or XPath or CSS, then we'll be using switch one, okay, to match it. So in the real-time framework, mostly we'll be using it. Okay, whatever you'll be learning, right, 90% thing will be seeing the implementation in the real-time framework development. Okay, then you can like kind of relate the thing, correlate the thing. Okay. But you are not having the basic knowledge, then you will be right every time you'll be having the problem. So that is the reason you need to learn the Java as well, so that right in the framework will be easiest one whenever and you can get the thing right very easily. Okay, so most of the thing whatever we are learning in the Java, it will be used in the framework slowly. So last 3 or 4 session you will be able to see the implication of whatever you are learning. Any other questions? we'll go to the next topic then. Then the method, right? Java method. What is the importance of method? So you already seen, right? Whenever we are kind of trying to identify an object, we are storing in some web element, right? Variable. Why we are storing it some variable? So that that variable I can call it n number of time, and in case the variable property is getting changed, right? I'll change only one places so that everywhere automatically it will be getting changed accordingly. Otherwise, in case everywhere hard coded, right, you need to change everywhere. But that is not a problem. You might face some problem, right? So that is the reason, right? We should use the method, which is nothing but the reusable component. So we'll be creating at one time. In case we need to update it, just we'll update it one time, and we can use them n number of time in that particular right for the packages, right? Particular class or maybe the outside the class also with the help of Java ops concept. So Java method is a set of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. Whenever user want to perform any operation multiple times, then they need to choose methods. Methods are also known as functions. Basically, there are two type of methods are available in Java. One is built-in method and one is user-defined method. So built-in method, you already learned the Java string method, right? Lot of string method available in the string class. Apart from that, right, kind of date and calendar method is there. So I'll be covering it today. And user-defined method, there will be two type of primary category. One is method where it will be returning some value, and one is method without returning the value or return type will be void. Okay, so let's try to create a method, right, where you will be not be having any returning value, and where we'll be creating one more method where you can get the return type. So before that, let's try to understand why we are using the method. So say I want to print something, hello Java, right, and I want to print it 5 times. Okay, just I want to print it 5 times. So it's fine. I can print it 5 times. But tomorrow, instead of hello Java, someone told me, right? Just let's print hello Java world. So there might be 100 cases, but we are human being, right? So I am updating hello Java world, right? Mostly. And one part I have forgot to update Java world, right? And one part I have updated in Java world instead of Java world one. Sorry, instead of Java world, I have updated one. So we are human being, right? Out of 100, maybe we have mistakenly did some two cases. So you'll be having in trouble because you have did some mistake. It might be the case. So what is output is coming? This two is not matching. But this is not the failure. This is the human being we have did. So how can you overcome those kind of situation? So we can create a method where we can have some return type or we cannot have without return type as well. So what we will do, I'll be creating a method in that particular class, public void set test method or hello Java. That is the method name I can create. Okay, I can just simply comment out those line, and I can give only one line as the method body, and I can simply comment this out. So now I have updated here, and this method if I call, I can create an object in my main class, say obj equal to new session. And now what I can do with the help of the object, I can call the method 5 times, right? So my problem will be solved now. Okay, so what will happen? It will be no, it will not be, that mistake can be avoided. You could see everywhere it is coming hello Java, and tomorrow your customer say or your lead say no, instead of hello Java, you can hello Java world, you can change, you to change welcome to Java world. So what I will do, I will simply write update in the method. Not, I don't need to update anywhere. I no need to change any code in anywhere because I'll simply update the code only one places where the method is returned. So this method return type is void, means without returning any value. So what will happen everywhere, wherever that method is being called, everywhere the thing will be updated accordingly. You could see everywhere it is updated. Welcome to Java world. So I don't care about how many method, how many time that method is being used. Just simply I will concentrate on the main method and where I will update it accordingly. So automatically everywhere it will be updated and there will be no problem at all. So that is the way method will help us to reduce the human error. And in case it is calling 100 time 200 time, but I will simply update it only one time, so automatically everywhere impact will be same, and there will be no error at all or human error. So that is the way I can create a method with a returning value. Now I will create one method with returning value as well. Yeah, that is called right, that is fine, no need to create the object, we can simply call that method directly. I'll create yeah, that is depend, right? In case you want to define something globally, I'll covering in the next session what is the importance of static keyword itself, so that you can understand something. Okay, that is already will be covered in next session, no worry. Okay, so object is that in case something you want to make it globally, either as a variable or the method or the block of command, you can define a static. Okay, otherwise you no need to define the static. Okay, so that static importance of the static keyword I will cover in the next session, no worry, so you can get to know better. So that is one thing, right? Without any returning any value. So I will just comment out this part. Now I'll create a method where I can give some return type. So how I will create the method? What is the way I need to create a method? First I need to give the access modifier. I can make it public. I can give any method name, say add. I can give some two variables, say integer a, comma integer b. Okay. So similar way, error will be there, but that is the way in the real time you should write the method. First is the access modifier, then the method name and the argument, whatever you want to pass. Then what you want to write in the method, right? So say I want to create a new variable, integer c, okay? And I want to use c equal to a plus b, a plus b. So that is done. Then I need to return c, right? Then only the return will be there. Return that c, whatever I have did it. Now what I am returning? Try to understand. What I am returning? I am returning c. But what is c? C is an integer value. Then simply return type, copy it and paste it here. It has a return type. Then your method will be done. So you no need to write anything immediately. First, write the objective of the method. What is the objective? I am passing to argument a plus a and b, and I want to sum those variable, and I want to store in new variable c. So c will be similar to integer only because I am creating to sum of two integer. So I am returning c. So what is c all about? C is an integer, and return type of my method will be c. So it will return type is c. Now I already created an object. So it will return the value as c, right? But it will not be printed in the console. So in case I want to print in the console, what I need to do? I need to use SOISO method, the value, then the object dot I need to call the method add. And as and when you're calling the method add, you could see you need to pass the argument value. Accordingly, it will work. So whatever you value you want to pass it, you can pass it during the runtime. So I want to say 20 and 30. Why you need to you are using arguments? So that I'm not hard coding the method objective. Next time, instead of 20 and 30, I want to do operation on says 200 and 1300. So I can do it using the same method. I can call it n number of time. That is the reason real time you should not hard coded it. You should always use the argument, and during runtime you can change the value accordingly. So using the same method you can call them n number of times without changing the method objective. In case it's similar objective, you could see first one is 20 plus 30. So what is the method objective? It is summing those two variable, returning the integer value. So it is the integer value is printed out 20 plus 30 equal to 50. Next time similar method, I am changing the argument value. One is 200 and another is 1330. So the sum will be 1530. So that is being printed out. So that is the way, right? You can create your own method and you can give your return time based on the method objective and other variable you are passing. And one is without a return type, it will be void always. But return type, it will depend based on the right argument data type you are passing and based on the objective of your method. So that is the way you can create the method which will be user defined method, two type. One is method with returning value and one is method without returning value. Then the method like overloading and overriding path I will cover in the next session, no worry. Then you can get to know how you can right create the similar kind of method. One is with the changing the argument, means number of argument. One is changing the type of argument. So that part you can learn in the next session. The next important thing I will cover is constructor, then I will take a pause in case you are having any questions. So what we are doing right now, we are, in case we are not defining anything static, right? So what we are doing, we need to create object or instance every time, and then with the help of the object, and then you can call the method, all this stuff. But sometime in the real time, whenever you are developing some framework, right, you can directly call the method, okay, without creating the object or during creating the object itself. So there is an option called constructor. So constructor is similar to method, but it has some differences. What are the differences? Constructor name should be same name as method name, sorry, class name. But method name can same name as a class name and different name also. But constructor should be always same name as the class name. In case you are giving it different name, then it will be treated as a method, not the constructor. Constructor cannot have return type, right? Constructor, whatever return type you are giving it, like integer, decimal, like floor or void, constructor cannot have return type. So constructor is a block of code similar to the method. It is called when, as and when an object or instance of instance of the object is created and memory is allocated for the object. The purpose of the constructor is to initialize the object of a class, while the purpose of method is to perform a task by executing Java code. In other words, constructor provides memory to the object. Without initializing object, right, we cannot use it properly. Every time an object is created with the help of the new keyword, at least one constructor will be called. It calls the default constructor. Constructor can be overloaded, means right, you can create similar type of constructor by changing the parameter of the value, but it cannot be overridden. Constructor of a class should be same name as the class name which is reside. A constructor in Java cannot be abstract, final, and static. Constructor must have no explicit runtime. So that is the way, right, we can deal with the constructor. So let's try to create a constructor. So what is the primary thing you need to think about? You need to think about two parts. One is the constructor be same as method name, class name, and constructor cannot have a return type. So how we will do constructor creation? Okay. So I need to simply give the access modifier public and then the constructor name. Say this is my class name. So it will be same name as say constructor. So it will be body here, so test constructor. Now what will happen? So in case I want to call that constructor, what I need to do? I need to simply create an object or instance. I no need to call the constructor. Automatically my constructor will be invoked. That is the beauty of the constructor. So you need to define the constructor same name as the class name without return type. And as and when you want to create an object or instance, immediately your constructor will be called. That is the beauty. In the real-time framework also, we can like avoid some step, unnecessary step, and we can write the body in the constructor. You can see the constructor got invoked. In case you are creating one more object, that same constructor will be invoked. So you no need to write a new class, new method, and you need to call that method. So automatically constructor will be invoked. So that is the way, right? You can create the constructor, but constructor cannot have return type, or constructor cannot be having all this stuff, right? Abstract, final, or static. If you give public static, it will throw the error. That part, at that part you will be learning in the framework part. In the framework actual time, right? So we'll be creating a constructor, so that whatever body you want to write will be writing in the constructor. So that just simply I will try to create an object. But in case you are creating a method, right, what you need to do, right, you need to create the method, you need to create an object, and you need to call the method, right? Let a multiple step, so those steps can be avoided. Okay, and constructor can be overloaded. So what is the overloaded meanings? Same name but with different argument. Yeah, parameter argument. So here you can see error message is there because there is no argument change, but I can give something called say integer a as a argument. So it is differentiating, right? There is no argument, it is one argument. So where whatever I'm creating a new constructor, right, here I can change it to 10. Okay, so I can change the body also. Test constructor say, and I can concatenate with the value whatever I am passing. Now you could see whenever you are giving that kind of field, right, that relevant constructor will be called, because we have created multiple constructor by changing the argument. You could see wherever there is nothing, so simply the first constructor is getting called, right? Because there is no argument at all. But second time I am providing some integer argument, so that is the reason that constructor is getting called. Test constructor, then the body, and the appended with the correct value, runtime value, whatever you are giving 10. So that is the way your constructor and method you can create it. So most of the interview will ask the question that why you will be required the constructor, what is the difference between the method and constructor. So method means I can define it, but every time I need to create an object and instant after that I need to call it separately. That is the one for the method. Method can be overloaded, constructor also can be overloaded, but so the constructor, right, as and when you're creating the constructor, you know, and you need to call, don't need to call separately, and as and when you are creating the object function, automatically constructor and mean invoked, and constructor you can overload it just like the method. Constructor should be same. No, 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 no. It will throw the error. I will be showing it in the next session, Java concept part. Okay. Constructor cannot be overloaded, overridden, only overloaded. Constructor you cannot declare as abstract, final, or static. Constructor you cannot give any return type. They need to be treated as a method, not the constructor. So in case you are giving something called public void, so it will be treated as a method then. Same thing, right? So it will be treated as a method, right? Now you could see you are creating an object for that one. It will not be calling the constructor because that one you could see there is a kind of compilation error as well, undefined. Okay, so constructor should be always without a return type. Okay, that are the primary difference. So whenever you'll be implementing the framework part, you can slowly understand why you'll be using, where you'll be using constructor, where you'll be using method. But this is the logical understanding of the constructor and method and differences as well. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, we'll go for the next. No, we can create multiple constructor, right? By overloading, right? You already seen, right? It can be overloaded. Here, this is the one constructor, this is another constructor, right? But same name as the method name. So you can overload it with the different changing the argument. Okay, you can create one constructor. Say instead of integer, I can change it to double. Either type of the argument or the um number of argument, double, right? So that will be fine. Either number of argument or either type of argument. This is called data type change, right? Or the number of argument. That is the two way your overloaded is possible. Overloading is possible. So overloading is nothing but the one of the concept of Java ops concept polymorphism. In polymorphism there are two types. I'll cover in the next session Java ops concept. One is method overloading. One is the method overriding. Okay, you might be getting confused now. In case I want to discuss more, so that will be separate topic altogether to cover that all the important concept for Java ops con part. Then the I will be just giving some simple thing for wrapper class. So right now you will not able to find any differences, because in case you are creating an object or class, right? You will be simply using the data type. But whenever you want to deal with the Java collection framework, those data type will not work, because Java collection framework only deal with the object in class, but data type does not belong to a class. So those, for the data type you cannot create an object. So that is the problem. So how to solve the problem? That I can use the wrapper class. So for every data type there will be relevant wrapper class available. So I can convert the data type to wrapper class. But the value will be pretty much similar only. But so that my in whenever I have been dealing with the Java collection framework, I should not have to face any problem. So wrapper class is a class whose object wraps or contain a primitive data type. Wrapper class are used to convert any data type into object. The primitive data type like character, byte, short, long, double, float, boolean, right, etc. are not object. They do not belong to any class. They are defined in the Java language itself. But sometimes it is required to convert data type into object in Java language. So wrapper class provides a mechanism to wrap primitive value in an object, so that those primitive can do activities reserved for the object in different kind of collection. Like it can be different list interface or different classes in the collection framework. There are primarily 8 classes of java.lang package are known as wrapper classes in Java. Like for the character it will be character, for short it will be short, for int it will be integer, for double it will be double, double. That is the way wrapper class will be there. This is the data type and this is the wrapper class. So let's see. But in the real, there will be no impact right now you are able to see. But in the collection framework, you need to always use the wrapper class, not the data type. Apart from that, in wrapper class, there are a couple of methods available, which we will see how to use those methods. So simply I am dealing with integer a equal to 20. So I can print it out, right? But this is not an object, because that integer is a data type, and that data type does not belong to any class, so definitely that will not be object. So that is simply data type. So I cannot use that one in the Java collection framework. Okay, it will print the value. But how I can convert this integer data type to a relevant wrapper class? So what I need to do, for wrapper class, for integer int, it will be integer wrapper class. So I will be calling that integer wrapper class, and I will be creating the object, because that is the class. I can create an object. So say int object equal to new integer, because that is the way you can create a class object of the class, and here you can pass the variable a. Now a belong to a object of integer class, and their object is nothing but int object. Now with the help of that object, if you want to print out, then that integer value is stored in that integer object wrapper class object, which is nothing but the integer class. Now that object you can use it anywhere in the Java collection framework. So value will be still same, but you are wrapping it in some classes and you're creating an object. So that is the way you can convert a data type to a wrapper class object. Similar way, suppose in case you are defining something called double d, say like that. Okay. So now you need to call double wrapper class, and you can create double object variable name, or object for the double wrapper class equal to new double. I can pass the variable data type d for the double. Now I can print it out, that object. So now double d, right, which is a data type, is going to double class, and the object is like double object, and that object is holding the value of d. Now it is belong to a wrapper class object. So it will not be a problem at all whenever I want to deal with the Java collection framework. So that is the way I can convert a data type to any wrapper class object. So that in collection framework you should not have to face any kind of problem. Apart from that, in wrapper class there are some sort of couple of like important methods available. So just I'm giving a simple example. say you are defining something called string, say str, and where your value is integer format, right? Say 250. Okay. So SYSO, if you want to do something, str plus say 200. So what will be the output? Can anyone tell me what will be the output? Yeah, 250 then 200, because for the string it will be concatenated, right? Because in case it is a string, the value operation will be plus symbols, meaning to concatenation operation, not the addition operation. So it will be, output will be 250 and then 200 will be appended there. Output will be 250 200, because it will be concatenation operation. But say, though I have defined in somewhere string, but your everything is in integer or double or float only. There is no alphabetic part or the character part. Only the integer or decimal part is available. Then my objective will be that in case something is available, I want to do some operation. In case it is a kind of alphanumeric for you cannot do it. But in case without any alphabet or special character, some sort of decimal or integer value is there, I need to do the relevant operation using the plus symbol. So what I need to do, I need to use the wrapper class object. Okay. So what I'll be doing it, I will be calling that integer wrapper class. Then if you press dot, there will be method available called parseInt. Okay, you could see parseInt. It is coming from integer wrapper class. What is return type? Return type is integer, and you can pass the string value. So return type will be integer. Now you can pass the string value and you can store in some integer. Int say wrap int. I can give it suppose say, or maybe base integer. That is the value. Now if you just try to print out, do some operation with that new variable, so it will be 450. So that is the way. Similarly, it is double float is available, so you need to call the double kind of wrapper class, and there will be method will be called parse double, parse float, all this stuff. So that is the way you need to do. Okay, now you could see 450. Similarly, if you press double wrapper class, there will be called parse double, right? So you can convert anything double in case something is in the double in the string. So you can convert it. Similarly, in case it is a like float, okay, parse float. So that is the way every wrapper class is having those method. So you can convert it and then you can do the operation in case your string, though you are defining some thing as a string, but there only the numeric part is available, integer or float or the decimal, right, or the double is available, and you can do the plus operation, right, with for a summation instead of concatenation. So those are the primary objective of the wrapper class in Java. I'll go then next one more session. I will take a pause then. Next one is I already told, right, in Java there are two type of method. One is user defined method where it will be without return type and with return type, and there are kind of uh, uh, built-in method. You already see the string method, right? Lot of methods available in string class. Apart from that, there is a some sort of method will be there for like calendar method, right, or date method will be there. Okay, so date and calendar class I'll be discussing it here. So so in case you are using calendar class, so there will be lot of methods available in the calendar class, and you can do some operation because you need to print some current system date, right? You need to suppose say you need to do some operation, right? You need to do exactly print the where what time it is taking. You can convert it to relevant date format as well. You want to change your system date, right? You need to change your print your weeks, time, day, year, or you need to like change the system date by 2 years, 3 years, or like 2 months, 3 months plus or minus. You can do it with the help of calendar class. So I'll be creating a object or instance calendar cal equal to, I need to call calendar dot get instance. There is a method available coming from calendar class. So I need to import that calendar class, already imported. Now with the help of that cal instance, whatever I've created for the calendar class, I can simply print out. There will be some sort of changes in the method. So cal dot get time. So it will be giving you get time. It will be giving you the time, current time in the for your system. So what is my system current time? It is like 8:31 p.m. 11 to 24. So that is the way it will print out. You could see Sunday, February 11, 8:31 means here it is giving 20 means 8 p.m. 31:18 second IST 2024 Indian Standard Time. You can get the time zone, time, date, month, year as well. Okay, now simply in case you want to get only print the year or day or the calendar week, all this stuff, right? So what you need to do, cal dot get, here you need to call calendar dot year. So only it will print the year. Now if you want to print out other stuff, dot. If you press dot, you can see lot of things coming. Day, day of month, right? Day of week, day of week, or say minutes, right? Whatever minutes is happening, that is the way you can call all the method as on based on your requirement. You can see 2024 year, day of month. Today is 11, so that is the result is coming. So day of week, right? This is the first week. Okay. So 0 and 1 like that is the way. Second Sunday. Okay. Then minute is 32. Now it is 32, 832. That is the way you can deal with that. Next time, right? In case you want to add some month in the calendar, year some calendar, how can you do it? So say I will be doing cal dot add. You could see integer field and the amount, integer amount. So what is the field? I want to change calendar dot year. I want to change the year to 2 years, right? So you need to give plus 2. And now if you want to get the time, so what will be printed out? It will be 2016. And definitely your right date might be changed. Okay, you could see Wednesday, February 11, 8:33 IST 2060. If you want to reduce by 3 years, you need to give minus 3. So similar way you can change it to month, date or minute, second, hour as well. You could see now it is changed to 2021. So 2021 same February 11 was Thursday only, but your timestamp is still same because you are changing the time. Similar way you can set the calendar day, month, everything. Okay, so cal dot set. So you could see you can change the year, month, and date as well, right? So I'm changing the year as say 2020. Then the month it will be 0 to 11. Okay, so I am saying 11 means December, and date I can do say suppose say 30 December, and then I can print the current date. So it will be 2020 year and December month and 30th December, right? You could see 30th December 2020 and date will be Wednesday. So that are the way, right? In case I want to deal with my system calendar date and time, right? With the help of the calendar class, I can do it. The next one is date class. Similar to calendar class, but I can also use the date class. So there is a date class available. I can create an object called dt equal to new date. Okay. So you could see some error is coming. You need to import the date class from the java.util package. Always use java.util, not the java.sql. Now you can print out the date dot to string, convert it to string. So those part you need to remember slowly because this is the some not the normal way whatever we are dealing. Now you can change it the date, right? Similar way, same only current date system will be displayed. 8:35 23 millisecond IST format. This is the year, this part. But sometime your requirement might be right? You want to display in specific format. Whatever system is displaying, you don't want to deal with that, right? You would require some format. Okay, so I just want to in the same format, say str format. What is my format? I want to give the format is like, say hour, minute, second, then millisecond, right? Millisecond part, that is syntax for a, then say dd, then say triple m, and then say only last two y part. I don't want to display everything. I want to just display the 24 instead of 2024. So that is the way you can change it. You can go dd mmyy or mmddy or whatever is required. So that is my format I want to print in my console. So you need to call simple date format class available in Java equal to, I can create an object called sdf simple date format equal to new simple date format, and you, one second, and you need to give the format here. So you need to import the simple date format class from the java.text packages. Now what I need to do, I need to simply print out based on the date format. So I'll be using sdf dot, I'll be calling the method called format, and I'll be passing the date, right? Whatever date is there, date variable. Now in my relevant format, whatever I've given, I can print it out. So that is the way, it one time activity. So everywhere date time, wherever you could see hour, minute, second, am or pm, right? That is the for am or pm. It is pm now. So initially it was coming as 2037, but I want to convert it to am pm format. So that is my requirement. So I can change it accordingly. And 11 is the date, February is the month, and 2024 is the year last part. If you want to print last all 4 year, so you can give YYYY. Now you could see it will be 2024 only. So that is the what was requirement, right? I want to print the YY part first, right? Then part, then DD part. So you can change it accordingly, and accordingly it will be printed out. Okay. If you want to give some slash, say I don't want to give this format, okay, that is the way I want to put it, because your requirement might vary, your customer requirement might vary, your system, right? Your company want to give some standard format, so whatever you can change it accordingly with the help of that. So that is the way these two, right, built-in methods will also play a pivotal role, especially whenever you are doing any kind of testing, because sometime in the real time, right, I want to concatenate that format for the screenshot primarily. I want to change my date to do perform some operation, right? I can do it. Or I want to like, because in case you cannot use the same screenshot name again and again, instead of that I can get the current system time, and current system will be always unique because millisecond will be unique, right? So that is the way you can concatenate whatever name along with the current system time millisecond format. So that will be automatically unique, and you can store all the, like there will be 20 screenshots, you can store it, so it will be 20 unique screenshot because your millisecond format will be definitely unique always. So that is the way, right? Your this kind of stuff will be helpful in the real time also. So you can slowly able to understand all the implication, whatever you are learning so far. I will take a pause again. So any questions? Hmm. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. New calendar, no, that is the Java predefined part. Okay, so that is the Java predefined part. We need to use it. Okay, because those are the predefined method. Now we cannot deal always like that. So that is the way they have developed. Okay, we need to abide by the law, right? Whatever we have developed. Yeah, mostly we should use the same, but right, that is the way only. Okay, to get the instance of the calendar, because we are getting the instance, current instance, so that is the way they have developed it. So those part just practice it and it will give you more and more confidence. Okay, but because those might be most of the thing you need to use in the real time framework. So those concept until you are able to learn it, then everywhere it will be struggling. So that is the reason, right? Whatever Java topics I am covering, 95% thing will be using on regular basis in the real time framework part. There is huge topics in Java, but whatever I will be covering, that will be sufficient to start your journey in the framework also, so that there will be no confusion at all. Last two important topics I'll be covering for today's session is the exception handling. So I already told, right, where you are using Java, because Java is the most of the programming languages having the exception handling mechanism. Otherwise, right, nobody should use any programming language, but still Java is having good exception handling mechanism. Java, Python, C has also. Okay. So what is exception? Some unexpected thing might come, right? Which is logically not maybe correct, right? But whenever some exception might come at the compilation time, means whenever you are saving the code, that time it come. Sometimes compilation time there will be no error, but whenever you are running the code, then only it will come. That is called runtime. Sometimes like there might be some severe issue through which your application can be crashed at all, right? In case you are not handling those kind of exception. So exception or exceptional event is a problem which arises during the execution of a program. When exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program or application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, these exceptions are to be handled. Otherwise, your 1000, 2000, 5000 code will never execute. Suppose say you are written already 500 line of code, just simply 500 line of code, and your exception is coming as say 50 line. But in case you are not handling the exception, right, your till 50 line of code will be executed, and as an exception will be coming, your program's execution will stop there and remaining lines will not be executed. That is the reason you need to know what are the exception might come and you need to handle the exception. So slowly, that is not a one day activity. As soon as you will be working more and more, they will be getting adequate knowledge and you get to know that what kind of exception might be coming and how to handle those exceptions. An exception can occur for many different reasons. Following are some scenarios where an exception might be occurred. So user has entered invalid data. It should take like only the text value, sorry, only alphabetic part, but you have given like alphanumeric character, all this stuff. A file, suppose say you are dealing with some Excel file, right? But Excel file you want to write some value, but Excel file is open. Can you write it? No. So that is might be an exception. Suppose say you are doing some execution, right? Your network connection got disrupted. So that will might be failure. So you need to think about that. In case those failure, you need to retry that one, right? So that whenever internet connection will be restored, you can retry one or two more times so that you will not be fail. It will try again. That is the way you can handle the exception. There will be checked exception. So in case you are kind of compiling it, saving the code, so exception can be thrown and you can figure it out. Unchecked one means only you are able to running the code, then you'll be able to understand, then you can handle the exceptions. Error, right? Some exception you cannot handle it, right? In case you are not having any memory, sufficient memory, or your virtual machine is not working, any kind of assertion error, those cannot be recovered. Those is kind of error, right? So you need to increase the memory, or maybe free some space, like that is the way. Okay, or you need to require the virtual system up and running. Okay, there are a couple of keyword you can deal. Primarily we'll be using try, catch, and finally throw and throws is there, but generally do not use much them. So try keyword is used to specify a block where we should place exception code. The try block must be followed by either catch or finally. It means we cannot use try block alone. The catch block is used to handle the exception. It must be preceded by the try block, which means we cannot use the catch block alone. It can be followed by try. Finally block is used to execute the important code of the program. It is executed whether an exception is handled or not. So try and catch block, I'll explain it in the later slide. So what are the different kind of exception might come in the Java? So Java defines several type of exception that relate to its various class library. Java use allows user to define their own exception as well. There are a couple of built-in exception, arithmetic exception. So in case you want to do some wrong operation in the arithmetic, like say you want to divide something by divide by 0, so that will be arithmetic exception will be thrown. Array index of bound exception you already seen right in the last session. Suppose say your you want to give some array size as 3 but you want to print some value of 5, or you want to add some value as 5, so during runtime that exception will come. Similarly, string index of bound means in case your string value is 4, you want to write something from the fifth place, so it will be throwing the error. Class not found, so you have created the class, right, but sometime you have changed the kind of access modifier. Instead of public you have make it to private, so you cannot access it, or sometimes you change the class name also. Similarly, file also you have changed the file name, or you remove the file. IO exception, sometimes your input output operation might be failed because of like some file is open or other stuff, right? No such field exception. So suppose say you have identified a field with the help of element locator, but later point of time say element locator got changed or removed, then element, no such field exception might be coming. No such method exception, so method attribute got changed, method name got changed also. Null pointer exception, right? In suppose you have defined a string as null, but you want to get the length, right? Definitely it will be null pointer exception, because null string cannot have any length at all. Number format exception, in case you are want to converting a string to numeric format, you already seen the wrapper class, so in case it is a numeric only, that is possible, but in case it is a numeric and string or a alphabet character is there, you cannot convert it to numeric at all, right, integer at all. Runtime exception, sometime runtime, right, some problem might be coming like hardware, all this stuff, failure of the stuff, that in the runtime exception will be coming. Then we'll be dealing here how to handle the exception with the help of try catch block and finally block. Okay, what is the try catch block? So in case some exception is coming, right, you need to handle the exception. Otherwise, right, your remaining line of code will be not be executed. And there might be couple of exception, different exception might be there. So we'll see how to handle the exception with the help of try catch block and finally block. So in case any exception is there, then the try catch block will find the exception. But though you are defining try catch block and your exception is not there, then try catch block will be ignored. But in case you are using finally block, though your exception is there or not, it does not care about, but your finally block will be always executed. Last time I showed, right, there is a kind of do while loop, so do part will be always executed. So while finally block will be used, there might be question. Okay, in the real time, so suppose say in case some error might be coming, I can use try catch block. But finally block, I can write something to close the browser or other stuff, right, to clear the resources, to destroy the resources, those part I can do it whether my exception is coming or not. Once my program is over, my execution is over, I want to close all the browser, I want to destroy all my resources, right, or the thread, so that my memory will be free. So in the finally block, you should always use those kind of code, so that it does not matter whether exception is coming or not, but you can definitely, right, execute that finally block. So let's create an exception first. So I am writing some code, say SYSO code before exception, okay, and code after exception. Now there is no exception, so what will happen? My two code will be executed. Two lines of code will be executed. Okay, because there is no exception. Now what I'll be doing? I want to create some exception. Okay, so that is the exception. 10 divided by 0 will throw arithmetic exception. So what will happen in case some exception is happening? So before the exception, line of code will be executed, and as and when exception is triggered, so exception will be triggered here, and remaining line of code will not be executed because your execution will be stopped there, and all the remaining line will not be executed. Any line, because that is a valid line, but that is not executed. So I need to handle the exception. So how can I handle the exception? With the help of try catch block or the finally block. So say I can Create try catch block manually, automatically as well. So select the line of code. Okay, then there is an option called surround with, right? You could see try catch block. Automatically it will be surrounded with try catch block. You could see. Okay. Now if you execute the code, your exception will be triggered definitely, but remaining line of code will be executed. Your exception, what is the exception is coming? Arithmetic exception, right? And then remaining line of code executed. Now if you remove the manual try catch block, system try catch surrounding it, but you can create your own try catch block as well. How you can do it? Try, then the statement, then the catch, exception name. What was the exception name? Arithmetic exception. I can copy it, right? Arithmetic exception. So that is the way that exact exception will be handled. Try. Then your exception here, right? What your statement. Then you do and. Then you need to use catch. Then you need to give exact exception name and any variable, right? And then you need to print out the exception. So that is the way you can print it out and handle the exception. Now you could see, so that is the way you can create your own try catch block. Okay, you could see arithmetic exception by 0. It will be getting more and more simpler line if you're getting manually, and code after exception is also executed. In case you do not know the exception, you can use generic exception, because this exception will handle all kind of exception. Exception might be array, index, or bound, like no such element by anything, but it will be handled. Generic exception will handle all kind of exception, either say arithmetic or other, but if you not able to recall it exactly, you need to give generic exception. So it's same way it will work. Next is finally block. Okay, so how you can deal with that finally block? So you need to, after that try catch block, you can give something called finally. Okay, so here I'll be using finally. So say finally block will be always executed. Okay, it does not matter whether the expression is coming or not. Now see, executed, so finally block is coming here, right? After the remaining line of code and exception is also coming. But next, let's say your exception is not coming at all. So I want to divide 10 by 2, so it's a valid one. So what will happen in case there is a no failure? So try catch block will be completely ignored. Try catch block will be completely ignored. But your finally block will be always executed. It does not matter your exception is coming or not. You could see 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your try catch block is completely ignored. There is no exception at all. But finally block is coming. That is the way you can deal with the exception. Another simple example I will be giving here in the exception. Okay. So say I want to declare an array. Say int array, one dimensional array equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the 4th digit, right? Okay. So then I want to print out some value from the fifth index. So it is having three index 0 to 3 because length is 4. But in case I want to print out something called fifth index, it will be throwing my exception. But I already defined that the exception is coming. So with the generic exception, I can also handle it. Apart from that, this is the exact exception is coming, like array index out of bound exception. Either I can give the exception or I can give the exact value of array index of bound exception. So it will still work. Okay, you could see index bound, but its length is 4. Now if I want to print it 2, so it will be valid. So your exception try catch block will be ignored, but your finally block will be still executed. That is the way you can handle the exception in case something is coming or something might come, so that you can give some precaution so that in case any exception might be coming, you can handle it. But that will be coming based on your right execution. As you will be executing more and more and more, you could able to get more and more knowledge and you can just implement them. Okay, I'll repeat the session once. After that, in case any question from today's class, I will take it, no worry. So in Java there are five type of conditional statement available: if, else, if else, if else if, or else if, sorry, if else if ladder, or else if, nested if else, and then switch statement. If in case only you want to validate the positive one, you can use if, but in case it is a condition not matching, it will, right, you need to surround with else part. Nested if else means within the if else you can surround with another if else part, nested if else. And else if statement is nothing but in case you are having multiple condition, right, you can use if, else if, else if, else if, and the add else only. Switch statement, right, in case similar to if else but in case you better in the real time to use switch because it is having more simplicity than the else if part. So every case will be unique in nature, and switch statement will be can deal with character, short, int, long data type. You need to surround with every case with the break, otherwise, right, all the thing might be displayed accordingly in the executed. Method is nothing but a set of statement which can group together to perform an operation. Sometimes method is known as function. Okay, whenever right user want to like perform any generic operation multiple times, the better to create the method so that like that useful method can be used in number of time, and in case some changes need to be made, you can only update in the method. There are two type of method: user defined and built-in method. User defined is method with returning value, method with returning value. Built-in, there are so many method like date, calendar, class, right, time, and sorry, date, time, calendar, class, all this stuff, and right, string method also. Constructor is a block of code similar to method, but in case you are creating constructor, as and when your object or instance created automatically, that constructor will be called. Constructor can be overloaded but not overridden, right? Constructor should be same name as the class name. Constructor cannot have any body. Wrapper class is a class whose object wraps or contain primitive data type, because primitive data type does not belong to any class. So that is the reason in case you want to deal with the Java collection framework, Java collection framework does not understand the primitive data type. They understand only class or object. So you need to wrap those data type to a wrapper class object. That is the reason wrapper class, this primitive data type you need to convert it to wrapper class object. Date and calendar function, you need already seen lot of method is already available in the date and calendar function, so that you can get the current system date, you can change the system date, you can get the month, year, all this format. Within the date class also you can change the, you can get the desired system date, you can change the format of the date with the help of simple date format class available in Java. Exception, in case you are writing so many line of code and in case some exception is coming, it can be checked exception, unchecked exception, or any kind of error also. You need to handle it always, otherwise remaining line of code will never be executed. So there might be lot of exceptions, right, built-in exception available in Java. Okay, so you need to handle the exception with the help of try catch block. So you already know the exception, what exception is coming, that exception you can handle with the try catch block, right? So that, but in case no exception is coming, your try catch block will be completely ignored. You need to give the exact exception name in the try catch block, or in case you do not know, that you can give generic exception name, and you can surround try catch block with the help of finally block. But the finally block will be always executed, it does not matter whether exception is coming or not. Okay, so that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.